Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Tender. It is Tuesday, August 6, 2024. Welcome, everybody. We're going to do the usual SPY, multiple time frames, and go around the horn. I do think we have a good chance that the bottom is in, and we're getting a nice three-wave move up because I do believe this wave is going to be corrective. Now, our last video, I mentioned that I didn't have any reason to give that this could be a wave 4 pullback. After going back over my work, I was wrong about that. I do think we're possibly at a 23.6% retracement from a structural low, and I'll show you that on. So make sure you stick around. We're doing this video at about 1:45 Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to consider being a supporter, you can get these intraday. If not, the video will come out around 4 p.m. Thank you very much for all the likes and all the support. So let's dive into it. We have lots of good information. Most of the time will be spent on the 65 with some maintenance on what, if we do get one more low, how that would look. All right, we have SPY in the monthly time frame, 2000 top, 2021 top, forming a top here. Now I can't cancel out if this is a wave 4 yet, and I'll go through that. So we could retest the highs. All right. I know that last video I was doubtful on that, but either way, we have to keep that in mind, and I'll show you what it would look like if that were the case. So we came into the 8 EMA on the monthly. You see we're getting a reaction off of it. That's also coinciding with this consolidation area here. So we're holding right above it, right on it again. And I think we're going to push off of that for at least a bounce. And I'm still 90% sure that the Qs, that the tech market has topped, and that has had an impulse wave down, but I'm not sure if SPY has quite topped yet. I think there is a possibility that it could eke out double top for just a slight new high, or at least get really, really close to it. Okay, so let's go down to the weekly time frame. And we do this top-down analysis because the higher time frames, they control what happens in the market. They're very powerful, and so we have to always look to see what's happening on the higher time frames first. Okay, but here's what I did. I went on the weekly time frame, and I said, man, could this be a wave 4? We're coming into this great support area here. We talked about that yesterday, but I wasn't considering these structures. Could this be a 1-2-1-2 or 1-2? Doesn't matter. But if we took, I'm highlighting the 23.6 retracement from the top and from the bottom of this structure here, and it doesn't really matter if I put it on that one or this one. It's still is in the same vicinity. So therefore, it doesn't matter if this 1-2-1-2. And what this says is this could all be a wave 3. And we're simply pulling back for wave 4. And then we can get a new high. Now, we see price action going back into the previous wave 4. That's very typical. And I don't think this is going to happen a much deeper retracement. It could. That would be towards the bottom of a wave 4. I mean, this is very possible, but we could directly go, not in a straight line over time, get up higher here. Would make more sense to me with the momentum, but a wave 4 could come down, and very typically comes down to the 382. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. This is why I had to put back on the table almost like a 50-50. We might eke out a new high. Okay, we're keeping the time factor, the early September. So we have 9-3 down here. We'll keep that in mind. The week of. So when price gets into that area, that's when we'll look to see where price is to see if we're looking for a turn or not. Now we're coming back underneath the 20-week moving average. That's going to be a huge area, and we're getting back into that area right now. So I do think there'll be a reaction back lower. And I think we're at about that level right now. And so I'll show you on the lower time frames as we're into a Fibonacci as well. So this is a very important level for the long-term trend. This is our trend indicator. So far, it's still moving up, but our trend, technically, we're underneath. So it might take a little work to get it back above it. Momentum's to the downside. We'll see what happens. We got to build some market structure here in the lower time frames before anything else could happen. So in the long term, the trend is still up. Clearly, we just look at that on the monthly time frame. So that's going to be conflicting until we resolve what happens next. Okay, let's go down to the daily. We don't need to look at the traditional technical analysis. Daily trend is our friend. This is the traditional one. We had this wedge, filled out the wedge, and broke down, back tested, and had that deep retracement. I honestly thought that we could have held way up here to get that, eke out that new high. That's what I was looking for. But with the volatility and this being such a major possible top coming in, this now makes much more sense in the larger scheme of things. With the volatility breaking out, now we have our big bounce. And this, to me, looks like a three-wave move, especially on the 65-minute. And I do think we're going to build some sort of high here, a higher low, and then start working our way up. Now, this is, if we're looking to get new highs, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be necessarily a impulse move up. It could be a motive wave, 5 waves, all in 3 waves. So it's going to look very corrective. It's going to be A, B, ABC for 1, ABC for 2. So it's good. I'm thinking an ending diagonal. And on the NASDAQ, it's going to look very similar to it, but it's not going to reach the new highs. And it's just going to be 3 waves. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for, but we have to keep in mind that we're really starting to lose some momentum, and this could be just like a left shoulder, with a rising neckline, right shoulder, and further down. Okay, so that would be the other scenario. So we'll have to play throughout our retracements, and we'll look at those each time we do the videos. Looking into the time price, I have the 23.6. I left them green, seeing how they could be bounce areas, or like I said, this could be the low for a possible new high going into late September or so. And that would just possibly eke out a new high, like I said, and diverge with the SPY and the Qs having a lower high, but a deep retracement. We'll have to see how price brings us going in. So we're looking at 8-9 being a possible spot for a high or a low time relationship. So on Friday, we're looking at something around that area to be maybe a new low. Maybe we pull back from here going into Wednesday and Thursday, have our pullback as a wave B or so, and Friday we get our free Friday where it's a nice big move to the upside with Monday follow through. So I'm kind of keying in on that, but we'll have to see what price shows us. I am long multiple stocks. I put in trade alerts for our members. That includes the supporters that are 99 cents. So that's a big deal in itself. Let's go down to the 65, and we're trying to make a flag type price action here. I drew a possible channel, and this could be the low. And what I was talking about yesterday is our secondary scenario would be a new low to test the channel again and have a nice move up. Our primary scenario is that we make a higher low and a move up. And just like I talked back here, clearly I was wrong about this being, that was a corrective move, and we continued lower. I was looking for this possibly being a wave 1 as a 3-wave move. It's going to look corrective. We're at the end. It's going to be very confusing. We're at the end of a major move. So what I'm looking for here is this to be an A, just like the arrow here, some sort of B, it can be a triangle, it can be a flat pattern, whatever. Wave Bs are very confusing, hard to trade. But a wave B, and then after that, a wave C. Now, in this scenario, this would be wave 1, a 3-wave move up for wave 1. Possible pullback again to test lows, possibly again. We don't know. It's going to be another larger degree wave B. As a wave 2, it's going to be very similar. And then a wave 3 headed higher at that point, a breakout from the channel. This is all speculative, but this first one I suspect will be a wave 1, and we'll go from there. Now we need to know if the low holds. If we do get a new low, then we'll start our count over to the upside. Okay, so I do think this low is good, being that we're at a good Fibonacci area. And if this top wants to be much larger, believe me, there's other scenarios that can occur. And we'll talk about that while we're looking at our Fibonacci. So perhaps we get up to our 62% retracement or 50% right in this golden zone and the downtrend line, and we make new lows after that, going into that 382 retracement that we talked about earlier, and a larger wave 4. Okay, so that's still in the books, but we're going to consider this the low to be very cautious around. So, and we're up above this 23.6 here. So we're looking at retracing and kind of trading around this area until we get and stay above it. So the reason why I think we pull back and I have these arrows at this point right here is because the what the market is wants to confuse traders about is if this is a 1, 2, 3, some people will expect a wave 4 and then a wave 5. So if this is a wave 4, then we'll have from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 3, a 382 retracement. We're at that point right now. So yes, I did put protection on while all my trades are out into 816, 823, 830, all my swings. My puts are going to be into that August 9th scenario that I was looking at. So this possibly has, this move has ended, and maybe we'll be looking for some sort of low around 8-9. And then some follow through to the upside. So now I'm starting to connect the dots with these. Now my scenarios are giving me more information, and clearly, if this starts to squeeze higher, that will negate this wave 4 possibility anyway. But we're looking for these to go into some of the time relationships now. So tomorrow, looking at today going into tomorrow, this could be our possible top with this cluster here, or it could just be a large move down and end up being a bottom, and we start doing that. Okay, so we just have to listen to price going into those time frames, and then we make our decisions after that. So we're swinging long. We think the low is in, and if it's not, we get a new low. We're going to add into those positions and readjust anyway, and then we'll have some shorter trade, shorter expiration date swings in to go long, and that's how I trade. And you'll have to do your own thing here. But now we're going to look at this for now as a possible wave 1 here, and then we'll have the wave 2 coming back, and then 3 after. And then this could be, like I said, this could be over going right into this 50-60% retracement. But how this top, so we'll be very cautious here. We'll have put protection and whatnot, because we'll be looking for a pullback anyway. But after, we think this might be a little bit more complex trade. So this could be a flat pattern where this is an ABC going to A or 1, B or 2, and then the finish of this retracement into the 786 or 887. So that's if we get a lower high. I think that's going to be what the NASDAQ looks like. And then SPY is going to eke out a new high, being a 4 in a wave 5. Okay, so that's where I think it'll diverge, is when we're up in these ranges. That's what I'm looking for. But in the meantime, this is our important intraday update here. I do think we get a pullback going into the next 2 days, and we start to get a rally after that, at minimum into the channel top there, which would bring us into this golden zone. And then we have to be very cautious at that point, because that could be where we go down for a larger wave 4. Okay, so this could end up being a deep retracement, testing the bottom again. That's what it did in the 2021 top. We had really large swings for wave 1, and then a really big wave 2, and wave 3 was extreme, and then you had a little tiny wave 4 and a wave 5. So I'm kind of mimicking. It won't be mirror image necessarily, but we'll be cautious on those levels. I don't think we're going to make a new low, but we have to be very cautious about that. Protect our accounts. Now we can go just around the horn here. The Qs, this is what it might look like, and this is really the tail that wags the dog. And check this out. This is the spot where we had that trend line that I thought we had our low in there. Now we're back testing here, so this is a good area again for the market to pull back and possibly break out of the channel. So a breakout here early for the Qs, because it was steeper, could mean that the Qs start to lead, kind of an earlier indicator, because the channel's much bigger in SPY, that we're going to start moving here. And so this could look a little bit different, where you get our pullback, breakout, and then a pullback again, testing the lows, but also just a trade back to the channel top. And that will mimic the SPY trade, actually rejecting off of the channel top and then headed lower. Okay, you see how these will kind of look very similar, and then the last moves here shouldn't be as large as SPY, so meaning that we'll probably have a nice retracement on the Dow and small caps that will push the market up even higher, while tech is just it'll still be bouncing, and the move, in my opinion, is big, just not as intense as SPY. Okay. And now, as far as these trades here, a lot of the major actually most stocks that I was going through look very similar to this move. So I found some good trade setups today, but now is not the time to get long. And we're looking for a pullback now. There was, just for example, AMD already had its move yesterday and is pulling back today a little bit weaker, and it still could pull back a little bit more, but I think this is a better setup if you're going to do anything today. That is my example there. That was one of my trade alerts for supporters and members. So keep that in mind. Just because the market is doing one thing, it doesn't mean all stocks are doing the other, but I do expect a retracement here. Let's take another look at this on another board. There's that 382. So if this was all a wave 3 and we have a bounce, this would be where the bounce should end. And so this is a good confluence. Retracement, boom, boom, or boom. So again, that's what we'll be looking for, very similar to SPY. Not getting a new top. Okay, here's the IWM. Just a massive straight line there, and this looks the same. Possible pullback, could even go even lower. That's where these could diverge and hold higher lows in SPY and QQQ, and these could possibly go down to a new low. And so those are just things we're gonna have to look out for as they happen. I'm not gonna trade the small caps or DIA. I'm not interested. I'm going to keep it a lot more consolidated, and that's very typical for bounces because things are all over the place. It's very choppy and corrective, so I try to keep it between SPY and QQQ and sometimes SMH. Same thing with Dow. Is this a 1, 2, and then possible 1, 2, or is this 1, 2, 3, 4 with the back test here, and the Dow gets a new low? That could drag the market down for going into the next couple days. VIX. VIX is a good indicator for us today to put on those protective puts on Qs and SPY, because we came down here and just missed. There's still a little bit of a gap open here. I took it off already. I'll just put in the little bit of gap that's left, but it's almost there. It doesn't have to fill it. But what I think is happening is we're getting to the gap, and the VIX is going to go up and try to close this gap before heading and get a lower high at that point. So I think the high is in a VIX, and it does bounce while the market has a pullback, and then rejects off of either the bottom of this or closes the gap and rejects down lower and continues to move lower as the market goes higher. All right. I do believe that's it. I'll look at the SMH. It's very, very similar. Holding somewhat of a channel here. Having a nice move. Could retest the broken channel here a little bit lower, and then start breaking out from these trend lines here. Okay, that's what I got for you. Hope this helps. Don't forget to like the video. We'll talk to you soon.